Hi, hello, it's me, Tiana, back at it again, and today we're talking about what I've been watching, brother. This series is meant to be monthly, but I always forget to write down what I've been watching. Whenever the iCarly reboot had came out, that's when I decided that I was going to make another video. Because I was actually going to make a video specifically about the iCarly reboot, but I don't know that I have enough to say about the series. At the point I had decided to make the video, I had only watched the first 3 episodes. So let's talk about the iCarly reboot. Like I said, I don't have a bunch to say, but I do want to note that I did not like the original iCarly, right? The iCarly that was on when I was a kid. I did not like the show. I felt very much so. I talk about this in a video that I made, I want to say like a 1.5 years ago. It's called, I'll put it in the eye. It's called Where Are All the Black Girls in Children's Television? And in that video, I talked a lot about the Dan Snyder, universe. And iCarly is a Dan Snyder show, right? And I talked about how Dan Snyder specifically has an issue with representation of Black girls. There literally are, I think it's only one Black girl that's ever been in a Dan Snyder show as like a main character. And I think that is Henry Danger. I think that's the only one that's had a Black girl. Kira was on Kenan and Kel, but she didn't have like a big part in that show, so I don't really count her as a main character, but I think she was like in the credits, credited as a main character. So I talked a lot about how not only did he have an issue with casting Black girls in roles on the show as main characters, but when he did have Black girls and use Black girls on these shows, it was always in a very negative way. Anytime there was a character that was a Black female character, she was always, steeped in stereotypes, and the other characters were like openly disdained her. We never saw not even a positive representation. We never even saw like a neutral representation of a Black girl on any of these shows, with the exception of, I guess, maybe Helen as a Black woman on Drake and Josh. But like, even with Kira, she was viewed as like the aggravating little sister, and we didn't even like have any sort of positive thing with her. I didn't watch Henry Danger like at all, so I can't really tell you much about the characterization of the Black female character on that show, but to my knowledge, she was the only one, right? So I never really liked iCarly. It rubbed me the wrong way. iCarly was one of those shows where it was written for children, but there clearly were some like adult jokes that were supposed to be in the show. I felt like a lot of the jokes on iCarly sort of pushed past being appropriate, and also they made a lot of jokes that like were racially tinged that I just never really liked iCarly. I didn't find the show funny. I didn't find like the characterization like of any of the characters really positive. I did not like the show. It just wasn't for me, right? However, I did want to watch the reboot, and before I watched the reboot, I was gonna rewatch the entire series because, again, this is coming off of my memory of watching the show when I was a kid, and also like catching parts of like certain episodes in passing when it's like on my TV. So I was gonna watch the entire series from the beginning before I watched the new episodes. However, I literally hate the original show so much that I did not even want to watch it for a video. Like, I didn't even want to watch it. And I did watch the new episodes, and I want to say iCarly is one of the better reboots. The iCarly reboot is one of the better reboots because they don't try to pander to every audience, right? I feel like a lot of times when shows do reboots, they're trying to capture the audience that would have watched the show originally, and also make space for a new audience, and also like make space for like the target audience for the show when it like came out. So like you'll have a show like iCarly that would be like targeted towards like people, like my age, in their 20s and 30s, or like 20s and 30s, and then also try to target like people, just anybody who would watch the show, anybody that would be interested in the show, kind of like iCarly, and then also specifically try to target like people in the like the 11-12-year-old age group from the original series. And it's like all of those people don't have the same interests. All of those people are not watching the type of shows that are not watching the same type of shows. So in order for you to have a show that works for all of the audience, you sort of have to lose some like uniqueness. I also feel like a lot of times when people do reboots, they care too much about the original audience and they try to bring in too many things from the original show that if you're not somebody who watched the original show, it just kind of feels like, okay, what's happening now, right? And I feel like iCarly did a great job of sort of knowing what the audience was that they wanted and catering to that audience instead of trying to be everything for everyone. The show is very clearly targeted towards the audience of people who would have watched the original show. It's people who are, like I said, in their 20s and 30s. Carly is an adult and she acts like an adult. They could have, like I said, they could have made it, it could have been childish. Like, it really could have been childish. But they made it an adult show. But it's not so adult and like risque or dark or however they keep doing, like the Powerpuff Girls reboot or like the Charmed reboot or like in any of the other reboots where they're trying to like take itself too seriously. It's not doing that. And I really appreciate the show is genuinely funny, and I appreciate that they added 2 Black female characters that seem well written and kind of tried to right the wrongs of the original series. And that's all I have to say. The next thing that I watched was Black Monday. That's a show on Showtime. I had saw people talk a lot about it, and I love Regina Hall, so I was like, okay, I want to check it out. The show is genuinely so funny. Like, if you're looking for a really funny comedy that's set in the 80s, I think that you should try it because it's very funny. It's very funny. It's starring Don Cheadle and Regina Hall, and some other people whose names I can't remember right now, but it's basically about these bankers who it's like this event that happened in the 80s called Black Monday, and the first season is basically like giving you what happened with these bankers until Black Monday, and then after Black Monday happens, like the sort of fallout from that is the rest of the seasons. It's in season 3 now. I don't know if season 3 is finished, but I'm caught up on season 3, and I think it's currently airing right now. But I'm watching it in the app, so. But either way, the show is very, 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 very funny, okay? Regina Hall is a comedic genius, and it's, like, crazy to me that she doesn't have every award. Like, and they should put her in more comedies. I first saw her, I think, in The Best Man. But the first time I really realized that she was, like, hilarious was, like, as Brenda in the Scary Movies. And if you've never seen, at least Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2, maybe Scary Movie 3, but Scary Movie 2 is like mwah, chef's kiss. But like, she's a comedic genius. Like, nobody is funnier than she is. Like, nobody on planet Earth is funnier than her. So watch the show. Okay, so I still want to talk about TV shows, so let me talk about some series finales. 2 different shows that I watched that have very similar concepts, and I think about it. Younger and the Bold Type both ended, and I watched their season finales. I made a video about the Bold Type forever ago, and I'll put that in the eye if I remember. And actually, my video about the Bold Type is one of my favorite videos I ever made. It's the longest video I've ever made, and I was talking for a long time because that season had a lot going on. But this final season, I feel like it was like very satisfying. I find it curious that the show ended this season after, you know, with all the mess that happened last season, but also it's like it's COVID, and I know a lot of different places are like cutting budgets and cutting down on like the production of different shows, so maybe, you know, it just caught up in the you know, COVID cuts, and that's why they ended up ending the show. Also, I can see, like, story-wise, how the show could have meant to end with this season. Like, I feel like they could tell more stories, but I do understand why. But I do find it very interesting that this would be the last season after, like I said, all the mess that happened with the season prior to this one. And again, If you watch my video on the bold type, I go more into that mess, right? So in this season, I think you can tell that because of like a lot of the stuff that happened in the last season, that the writers were very much aware of what people were saying about the show, and they tried to make like changes to sort of satisfy the critiques of the show. One of the bigger critiques I saw that people were really trying, I think the writers were really trying to address was the issue with Kat, and us feeling like they were taking Kat to a place that was like uncharacteristic, or like sort of writing Kat white, even though she's not, right? She's biracial. There is a different experience between white people and biracial people, no matter how much the people on the internet are trying to take blackness and like otherness from biracial people. Like, there is a difference in how you move in the world if you're biracial than if you are white. So a lot of the nuance and stuff that we need from some of the storylines that Kat has been involved in lacked, because it was very clearly written by white people with this like vision in their mind of like being race neutral versus being like authentic to the experience of a biracial person going through the things that Kat was going through, right? And I also really appreciate the way they ended the series. I was gonna spoil it and say exactly what happened, but the job that Kat ends up with, I really feel like she deserved it, and I feel like that goes specifically to like what I was saying in my other video about the bold type, about like the show leaning towards like a lot of white feminist talking points, a lot of that lens of what's good for white women is good for everyone. I feel like they sort of realized the way that white feminism sort of only helps itself, and try to resolve that in the way that they ended the show. However, I wish they would have been more explicit, if that's what they were trying to do, because I just might be reading into it. But if that's what they were trying to do, if they were trying to address the sort of white women helping white women narrative, I wish they would have been more explicit. And that Jacqueline had like outright said why she did what she did, and why she favored who she favored. And that's all. I'll leave it at that, because I feel like if I say anything more, I'm gonna spoil it. The only storyline that I did not like was the Alex storyline. Again, y'all know I don't believe in cancel culture. It's very stupid, and I feel like that white man was going to be fine. That white man was going to be fine. He was going to be fine. And for Alex to expend all of that energy and time to get that white man his job back, it was stupid. It was stupid and pointless. And I just don't care. Like, I feel like it lacks so much nuance, again, on race, where it's like, yeah, it was like kind of sucked that man like lost his job for whatever it was, but like, just because we only saw one tweet don't mean that was the only one bad thing that he had ever done in his life, right? We don't necessarily know that he was this good person. And they tried to present him like, oh, he goes to women's marches and he takes grandma's cookies on Sundays and like helps old ladies cross the street. And it's like, okay, but that don't have nothing to do with nothing. Like, it don't have nothing to do with that. If he's such a good person, then he would find another job. People will be able to see that. Like, to make Alex carry water for that white man and do all of that, like, I just didn't like it. I just did not like it, because the thing is, if the roles were reversed, if it was Alex who made like the bad tweet. I don't even remember what the tweet was, because that was last season. But if Alex was the one who made the bad tweet and that white man had got him fired inadvertently, that white man was not going to do as much work to get him another job as Alex did for him. And like the idea that black people have to be like super careful about who we're calling out because it has real effects on people's lives, it just feels as if you're trying to say that to tell that story with a white man is like saying like some people have, you're going too far with these consequences, you're doing too much. And it's like, you could have told that same story, right, with a character of color, or a female character. Even if you would put a white woman in that same role, like, I feel like it would have hit better, because those are the people who actually get consequences for their actions. Like, it doesn't really make much sense for me that he would have gotten fired from that one tweet anyways, and for him to get fired from that one tweet, and then for them to make it seem like Alex ruined his life. Like, no, he ruined his life, first of all, because he made the choice to make that tweet, and second of all, he was going to be fine. Like, he was going to be fine. Like, maybe he has to take a two months off of work and not be able to find a job for 2 months, but somebody was gonna hire him. And even if, like, he couldn't get another job at, like, Pinstripe or whatever, I'm sure one of those right-wing magazines or somebody would have given him a job. Like, I just don't like the way it was framed, as if Alex ruined that man's life. Like, he didn't. He just didn't. The other storyline was the Sutton and Richard storyline. I talked a lot about Sutton and Richard in my original video about the bold type, and I left that video saying that I was not sure what they were going to end up doing with those characters, because I felt like they raised the stakes so high, right? And I like the way the story resolved, but I don't know if I feel like it was earned. I guess that's what I want to say. Like, I like the resolution, and I feel like maybe somebody watched my video and that's why we got some, but I feel like there were some steps missing, right? Like, somebody watched my video and it was like, oh yeah, we could do that, but some of the steps was missing to actually make the resolution feel earned. And it might be because it was a shorter season, or, you know, what I was calling for them to do with this storyline would have taken, like, longer to resolve, and, you know, the series ended and they needed to have an ending for them. But yeah, I don't know. I do like the way the show ended overall, and I feel like the way they ended the show, it felt like a finale, like they tied up all the ends. However, I do feel like they could very easily bring the show back at any point. Like, you could do a reboot in 10 years and bring those same characters back, and I can, like, envision what that world looks like, right? I can see what these characters are doing and how their lives have changed, and you can jump right back into the world. So I really appreciate that. Next was Younger. The finale of Younger sucked. I just didn't get it. Like, I felt like the very last scene was annoying and pointless. I hate when shows want to have things be like couples be in game, and typically with a show you can tell within, like, the first 2 or 3 episodes what is the couple that's going to be in game. Like, who are the 2 people that will be in game, right? And with this show, I feel like they kept going back and forth about who they intended to be in game. So once we got to who was actually in game, again, it felt unearned. Like, it felt like y'all did all this work to show us that this relationship and this, you know, it was resolved, that it was settled, and then you wait until the last episode to be like, psych. I don't like that. I also feel like they set a bunch of stuff up and then ended the show. Like, they were like, oh, we're gonna do this, and oh, we're gonna do that with the characters. They had plans, and it's like, oh, so did we get to see those plans? No, the show's over. Okay. Like, I don't know if they didn't know that this was gonna be their last season and they had plans, but it just, like, in the bold type, the way it ended, like, people had plans and people were doing things that we saw, like, a future for these characters, but the stories that we watched felt resolved. With Younger, it didn't feel resolved. Like, it felt like we were supposed to be watching these characters, and I guess it was because the, like, stakes were being, like, risen at the last minute. Like, so we didn't have, like, a falling action. We didn't have time to let stuff sort of, it was just like in the last, you know, 20 minutes of the episode, or not 20 minutes, it's a short episode, but in the last 5 minutes of the episode, all the characters had to decide what their future was, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I'm so sorry. And I feel like I liked the first season of Younger, and then it kind of got off the rails all over the place. I don't know. I watched the season premiere of Grownish. I have a love-hate relationship with Grownish, and at some point, when they finally cancel the show, I'll do a video about the entire series, because every time I try to do a video about like a season, I feel like I want to give them another chance. Like, I don't know what it is, but they got me, they holding me hostage. Like, every time I feel like I want to be done with Grownish, I feel like I have to give them another chance. And it might be because I like Yara Shahidi. I think she's adorable. It might be because it's black people and I'm always going to give black people extra chances. But like, every season, it's never getting good. Like, it's not horrible. It's not the worst show I've ever watched. But like, it's not getting better. And I keep waiting for it to get better so I can like have something positive to say about the show. But I think I'm just going to have to end up making just a negative video about Grownish, because there's a lot of problems with my girl. But I don't know. I watched the season premiere. Zoe is still a mess. All these characters, it's a mess. It's a whole mess, but I don't know. Watch it, I guess. Or don't watch it so they can cancel it and I can talk about it. So now we're going to talk about some movies. I watched all the Fast and Furious movies when the Fast and the Furious F9 had came out. I watched all of them, except for the Fast 8, Fate of the Furious, and Fast 9, because I got tired of watching it. I really got tired. Like, I was recording myself watch these videos so I can make a video about my thoughts on the entire series, and that video will still come up. I just don't know when, because I still have to watch the last 2 movies. I don't want to watch the cars go no more. I don't want to watch it no more. I don't know what it is, but my attention span is lost. My desire to continue to watch these movies is off. And I don't even hate them. Like, I'll save some of my opinions on the series for the video that I eventually will make. But I don't even hate them. It's just, I don't know. It was something about watching all the movies in one weekend that I just wanted to slit my wrists. It was too much. So yeah, I guess be on the lookout for that Fast and Furious movie. I watched Ready or Not randomly one night. I do these weekends where I watch a bunch of movies, because I'm not a big movie watcher. I don't like watching movies in general. It just feels like too much of a time suck, honestly. And then if it's a movie that I've never seen, I'm always afraid that I'm gonna get, an hour into the movie and realize I hate it. And then it's like, do I keep watching it or do I turn it off? And I don't like not liking stuff. So I feel like it just be too up and down. Like with a TV show, I can watch the pilot of a show and know if I'm gonna like it. But with a movie, it's like, I don't know. It takes too much investment or something. I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to be better about watching movies. I don't like being out of the loop. I don't like people knowing stuff I don't know. So I randomly have these weekends where I watch a bunch of movies that I've never seen, or movies in a genre that I like, right? So I had a white people thriller weekend, I don't know, but I watched Ready or Not and I watched Midsomer. I was gonna watch Hereditary, but it was like nighttime once I finished Midsomer, and I knew that Hereditary was supposed to be scary. I wasn't in the mood, and the next day I didn't want to watch movies anymore, so I never got around to it. But my thoughts on Ready or Not is that movie is very funny. And I did not realize, like, what I heard it described was like Knives Out, but like bloodier or whatever. And I guess I can kind of see that. However, I feel like the humor kind of felt like out of place at sometimes. Like it couldn't decide if it wanted to be a full-on like slasher, or if it wanted to be like a comedy. And maybe I just didn't, like, maybe the jokes just weren't landing for me, but I felt like it was like, it would be like serious, like bloody slasher, rah rah rah, and then a joke, and then back to serious, and then a joke. I do find the killing of the maids thing to be very funny, and the sister who was on coke, very funny. All her stuff was very funny. And I think the premise was really interesting. I love when movies do stuff that like we haven't seen before, because it's very hard to have an original idea in the year of our Lord 2021, because there's so many movies in so many different countries and so many things have been made, so it's hard to like make something new and original. But I do feel like it felt like something I had never seen before. Speaking of Midsomer, I don't get it. I don't know, maybe I'm too stupid, maybe I'm too dumb, maybe I need for my movies to be too literal, or to tell me exactly what it is that they're trying to say, or just be a little less, I be using esoteric, but I don't know if I know what that means. Either way, I didn't get it. I don't feel like it was bad, but I spent most of the movie like, what? Huh? Why? Huh? And it wasn't scary, it was more just like shocking, and me being like, whoa, or like, why did that happen? But like, I don't think I was ever scared watching it. And the only thought I had while watching the whole movie the entire time was, white people are nuts. And I know it's fiction, and this probably does not exist in Switzerland or Sweden or wherever they was. But yeah, the only thoughts in my head was, white people are strange. So I guess thanks to the movie for giving me more biases about white people. And the last movie I watched was Crooklyn. Crooklyn again I was meant to do a Spike Lee weekend, but I had all the movies queued up. I was gonna watch the Hugh Newton, I was gonna watch Mo Better Blues, I was gonna watch She Hate Me, and Crooklyn. But I watched Crooklyn and then fell asleep. I saw the whole movie, I watched the whole thing, but I fell asleep afterwards. And when I woke up, I didn't want to watch movies anymore, so sorry. But Crooklyn, I love the little girl in Crooklyn. She's adorable. The movie is boring. The movie is boring. I feel like I'm maybe not a Spike Lee fan. Like, I feel like I've only seen one Spike Lee movie that I liked, and it was Do the Right Thing. And I feel like maybe that's basic. Like, I feel like that might be basic for Do the Right Thing to be the only Spike Lee joint that I like. But, like, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of them. I've never seen, is Malcolm X. I've never seen Malcolm X, or, like I said, More Better Blues, or, the Huey Newton Story, or, I haven't seen, it would be faster for me to say the ones I have seen than to say the ones I haven't seen. But, like, I haven't seen a lot of his movies, so I can't sit here and act like I'm like this deep dive like historian on Spike Lee's work. But I just feel like most of the time I'm just like, okay. Like once I get to the end of a Spike Lee movie, I'm just like, okay. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I don't know how. It just kind of feel like vibes and no plot. And sometimes I like vibes and no plot. Like, I think Crooklyn was fine. But I don't know. I guess I be wanting movies to have a purpose, or have a point. And I don't feel like the Spike Lee movies that I've watched, like, had a point. Like, it was just, like, these are, you know, cool or interesting shots. But, like, the storytelling is, like, lacking, maybe. Does that make sense? I don't know. But I'm gonna keep trying. One of these weekends I am gonna go back and try to do this Spike Lee weekend, and maybe we'll revisit it and I decide that I do like his movies. I just haven't seen the right ones, or haven't seen enough, right? So that's it. That is all. I thought I only had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only had 9 things, so I thought this video was gonna end up being short, but it's actually kind of pretty long. So shout out to me for making a long video. Also, so sorry to anybody who's irritated by the fact that I'm not in center. I could have fixed it at any point, but I just didn't because I didn't want to. Sorry. So yeah, in the comments, tell me what you think about the stuff that I watched. Did you watch the iCarly reboot? Do you like it? Do you think it's good? Did you like the original show? Because like I said, I didn't. So did you like it? Have you seen any of the other shows I mentioned? Did you like the way Younger ended? What's your opinions on Spike Lee movies, Spike Lee joints? What y'all think? Am I being too hard? What would you suggest I watch? Which Spike Lee movie would you suggest I watch to really get it, like to really be all in on it? Like, which one is the best one? If you say Malcolm X, I'm gonna watch it, but it won't be soon. But I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, so that is it. That is all. Thank you as always for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one.